Hey everyone, and welcome back to Alisa English Podcast. I'm Alisa, your host. Let me start with a question. Do you still translate every sentence in your head before speaking English? If so, you're not alone. Many learners struggle with this. It slows you down, breaks your confidence, and makes conversations feel like a grammar test. But here's the good news. You can train yourself to speak English automatically, without translating. And today I'm going to show you how. So, grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into practical techniques to help you stop translating and start speaking fluently. The first thing I want to talk about is why translating slows you down. Let's be honest, we've all done it. You want to speak English, but your brain starts by forming the sentence in your native language. Then you try to translate it word by word. Then you wonder, wait, is the grammar correct? And by the time you're ready to speak, the moment is gone. Sounds familiar? Translating in your head feels safe, but it actually slows you down. It's like driving with the handbrake on. Why? Because you're doing 3 steps instead of 1. Step 1, think in your native language. Step 2, translate to English. Step 3, double-check grammar and word order. That's a mental overload. No wonder so many learners freeze in conversation or feel stuck mid-sentence. And worst of all, you might end up sounding robotic or unnatural even if your grammar is correct. But here's the good news. Fluency doesn't come from perfect translation. It comes from learning to think directly in English, even if it's simple at first. Imagine this. Instead of translating "Toi tish joksach" into "I like to read books," you just feel the sentence, I like reading. Quick, natural, confident. This is how native speakers communicate. And you can train yourself to do the same. So if translating slows us down, how do we train ourselves to think in English? That's exactly what we're diving into next. The next important point is, train your brain to think in English. This might sound strange at first, but it's one of the most powerful habits you can build. You see, your brain is like a muscle, and just like any muscle, it needs regular training to grow stronger. When you start thinking in English, even just a little, you're rewiring your brain to process language directly instead of constantly translating. So how do you do it? Start small. Here are a few simple ways. Narrate your day in English. While you're going through your morning routine, say things like, I'm making coffee. Where are my keys? I have a meeting at 10. Label your environment. Stick small notes on things around your house, like mirror, fridge, lamp. Seeing the words repeatedly will help you internalize vocabulary naturally. Practice outside. When you're walking down the street, describe what you see. The sky is cloudy. There's a bakery on the corner. That dog looks friendly. And don't worry if the sentences are short or simple. That's exactly how fluency begins. You're not trying to sound like Shakespeare. You're just building a habit of thinking in English, little by little. And here's the best part. You don't need anyone else to do this. You can practice anytime, anywhere. Whether you're cooking, commuting, or just brushing your teeth, use those moments to train your brain. Think of it like this. Each thought in English is a repetition, and repetition is how we build fluency. All right, now that we're building that English thinking habit, let's talk about how to expand your vocabulary in a smart and natural way. What's more, use the shadowing technique. If you've never heard of this before, get ready, because shadowing is one of the most powerful techniques for improving your speaking fluency, pronunciation, and listening skills all at once. So what is it? Shadowing means you listen to a native speaker, from a YouTube video, podcast, movie, or interview, and then you immediately repeat what they say. You don't wait, you don't pause. You speak at the same time, just a second behind, like a shadow following their voice. Here's how to do it step by step. Choose a short audio or video clip. 1 or 2 minutes is perfect to start. Play the first sentence and repeat it immediately, mimicking the speaker's exact rhythm, tone, and pace. Don't worry about understanding every word at first. The goal is to train your mouth and your ear to move together. Think of it as language karaoke. But instead of just singing along, you're practicing real-life conversation patterns. And here's why it works. When you shadow, you stop translating in your head. You begin to speak more automatically, reacting naturally like native speakers do. Plus, it helps you absorb common chunks of language, such as, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I've been thinking about that too. These are the building blocks of fluent speech. Over time, shadowing builds muscle memory for English, so that words and phrases start to flow out without hesitation. Start small, just 2 minutes a day, and you'll be amazed at how fast you improve. You don't need a fancy course or a teacher for this. All you need is your voice, some headphones, and a bit of courage. All right, let's keep going, because now that you've got the technique, I'll show you how to use it with even more impact. Now let's move on to another key point. Learn in chunks, not words. This might be one of the biggest mindset shifts for becoming fluent. Here's the thing. Native speakers don't think or speak one word at a time. They speak in phrases, or what we call chunks of language, natural combinations of words that often go together. For example, we don't say, I will think about it. Instead, we say it as one smooth chunk. Let me think about it. Here are some more chunks you've probably heard. By the way, a great way to change the subject. At the end of the day, to summarize your main point. Sounds good to me, to agree casually. I'm not so sure about that, to politely disagree. It depends on, to show flexibility in your answer. These aren't just random word combinations. They're pre-made expressions your brain can pull out quickly, without having to stop, think, translate, or build a sentence from scratch. Think of it like this. Instead of cooking a meal from raw ingredients every time, you're using ready-made meals, already prepared, already natural, already delicious. So, how can you start learning in chunks? Try this. Notice expressions when you watch shows, podcasts, or YouTube videos. Write them down in a notebook labeled Useful Phrases. Practice using them in real situations, like responding to a message or even talking to yourself out loud. Let's take one as an example. Instead of learning agree, learn the full chunk. I totally agree with you. Now you've got the meaning, tone, and structure, all in one go. Learning in chunks makes your speaking faster, smoother, and much more natural, just like native speakers. All right, now that you know how chunks can transform your speaking, let's move on to another powerful tip for fluency. The next crucial point is, listen actively, not passively. Now, don't get me wrong, watching Netflix or YouTube is great. It's fun, it's relaxing, and yes, it's in English. But here's the truth. If you're just watching without engaging, you're not really training your brain to speak. Passive listening is like sitting in the passenger seat of a car. You're moving forward, but you're not the one driving. If you want real progress, the kind that helps you speak more fluently and confidently, you need to listen actively. So what does that mean? Let me break it down. Pause and repeat. After a sentence or phrase, hit pause. Say it out loud. Mimic the speaker's rhythm and tone. This builds pronunciation and memory. Imitate what you hear. Don't just understand the words. Copy how they say them. This is what actors do when they learn accents. And it works. Write down useful expressions. Keep a notebook of phrases you like. For example, if someone says, "I'm not sure I follow," write it down. Use it next time you're confused in a conversation. Use subtitles wisely. Start with them, especially for tough content. But then, rewatch without subtitles. See how much you catch. This trains your ear and strengthens your listening intuition. Here's a new word to remember. Absorb. It means to take something in and make it part of you. And that's what your brain is doing when you listen actively. It's absorbing grammar, pronunciation, and natural sentence flow without needing to study it directly. And here's a great idiom for today. Soak it up. It means to enjoy and absorb something fully. When you listen actively, you're soaking up the language like a sponge. So remember, don't just sit back and watch. Lean in and engage. Be curious. Be intentional. Because when you listen with purpose, you're not just watching, you're learning how to speak like a native. Let's keep that momentum going. Coming up next is another tip that will help you take your vocabulary to the next level. The next big idea is this: don't fear mistakes, speed first. This is something I see all the time. Many English learners hesitate because they want every word, every sentence, every verb tense to be 100% perfect before they speak. And I get it. No one wants to sound silly or make a grammar mistake. But here's the truth. That mindset slows you down. Let's look at how kids learn. Toddlers make tons of mistakes when they first speak. They mix up tenses, forget words, invent grammar rules, but do they stop speaking? No way. They keep going. They laugh, they repeat, and that's how they get fluent. So what can we learn from that? The key is progress over perfection. Fluency comes from practice, not from knowing every grammar rule. Try this. Set a timer for 1 minute. Pick a topic: your weekend, your job, your favorite food. Speak non-stop in English. Don't worry about mistakes, just talk. This kind of speed practice is powerful. It teaches your brain to think and speak in English without overthinking. A great verb for this is hesitate. It means to pause or stop because you're unsure. When we fear mistakes, we hesitate. But the goal is to keep the flow going. Here's an idiom to remember: go with the flow. It means don't overthink. Just let things happen naturally. When you speak, go with the flow. Let the words come out. Fix mistakes later. Remember, speed leads to automatic speaking, and automatic speaking leads to fluency. So let go of perfection. Speak up. Make mistakes. That's how you grow, and that's how you win. All right, let's move on to our final tip, and it's one that helps make learning fun and memorable. All right, let's talk about a powerful daily habit. Practice with short speaking prompts. This is one of the most effective and most underrated ways to improve your speaking fluency. And the best part? You only need 1 minute a day. Here's how it works. Pick a simple topic, set a timer for 60 seconds, then speak out loud without preparing or writing anything down. For example, describe your favorite meal, what it is, how it tastes, when you eat it. Talk about yesterday. What did you do? How did you feel? Explain how to make coffee or tea. Step by step, as if you're teaching someone. These tiny prompts train your brain to think in English quickly. They also help you notice which words come easily and which ones make you stumble. Don't worry about being perfect. The goal is spontaneity, not precision. And here's a pro tip: record yourself. Yes, it feels awkward at first, but when you listen back, you'll hear things you missed while speaking. Did you hesitate? Did you translate in your head? Did you repeat the same word? That's where the real learning happens. Let me share a quick idiom here. Practice makes progress. Not perfection, progress. Every time you do one of these 1-minute prompts, you're building fluency little by little. Another one. Think on your feet. It means to speak or respond quickly, without preparation, just like in real-life conversations. So don't overthink it. Grab your phone, hit record, and talk for a minute. It might feel small, but over time, those small efforts compound into major improvement. Okay, coming up next, how do we stay motivated to keep practicing every day? Let's dive into that. All right, so we've looked at why translating slows you down and 7 techniques to help you think and speak in English automatically. Let's now take a minute to review 5 new words and expressions we used today, and make sure you understand them clearly. The first word is exhausting, meaning very tiring or draining. Example, translating every sentence is mentally exhausting. The second word is hesitation, meaning a pause due to uncertainty or doubt. Example, she spoke without any hesitation during the interview. The third word is chunk, meaning a group of words that often go together. Example, how are you is a chunk, not just three separate words. The fourth word is react in English, meaning to respond instantly without translating. Example, shadowing helps you react in English without overthinking. The final word is let ideas flow, meaning to speak freely without stopping or planning every word. Example, don't worry about grammar, just let your ideas flow. That's it for today's episode on Alisa English Podcast. I hope you found it helpful. Remember, fluency doesn't come from translating. It comes from living in the language, little by little, day by day. Practice thinking in English, shadow what you hear, speak without fear. And most importantly, enjoy